Welcome to the Collector Cave, and today we have a review of 2B from Nier Automata, which is actually from the anime series that came out last year, I believe. It's Nier Automata version 1.1a. And I have this figure here showing you guys what it came like to me. I got it from Big Bad Toy Store, and I got 2B and 2S. And as you can see, 2S, which I'll review after this one, came just like this in the box. But 2B came in this like paper wrapping. So I thought that was interesting. Now this figure is a little bit bigger. The box is wider than 2S, but it came in this little paper wrapping to give it extra protection. So there must be a little more love for 2B over there at Bandai Namco. Let me take this paper wrapping off, and then we'll look at the packaging in better detail. Okay, here's 2B out of that wrapping. That felt good. It was like unwrapping a present. It's pretty neat. I wish all action figures came in something like that. But anyway, here is 2B. You know, when I bought these off of BBTS, I didn't realize that it was based off of anime. I didn't even know there was a Nier anime, honestly, which I have to go watch. I haven't watched it yet. But this is based off of Nier Automata, the anime, which is based off the game, the video game that came out, I think, 2017. And 2B is like one of the main characters you play as. And super cool look. I won't go into any details in the story because there's a lot of spoiler territory in that game. And I'm not about to ruin it for anybody that hasn't played it yet, even if it is, 6, 7 years old, whatever. It's the story is that good that I don't want to spoil it for anybody. But looking at the figure and the packaging, I don't have many S.H.Figuarts. I think I have a Thanos from Endgame or from Infinity War, and that's it. I'm not a huge S.H.F person, but they got the license for Nier, and this I haven't bought any Nier figures ever. So I've got these two. I've got actually 2B on order from Square Enix, the PlayArts Kai version, the taller version. And I also have a Bring Arts from Nier Replicant coming. That was actually on sale. And we'll review that later when it comes. But for now, we have 2B and 2S, both from Nier Automata version 1.1a, which again, like I said, is the anime. But I mean, for all intents and purposes, this is what the figure looked like in the game. I don't see too much of a difference. Maybe the hair a little bit. The head seems a bit bigger, and the hair seems more round. But otherwise, it seems pretty close to what it looked like in the game to me. But looking at the packaging, I do like the S.H.F packaging. Bandai Namco sticker up there, 2B. We see all the face sculpts she comes with. She has 5 different face sculpts, which is pretty cool. And then Pod 42. And then I think she only comes with 1 sword, though. And maybe because the anime she had 1 sword, but in the game she has 2. She has like a heavy weapon and a light weapon. I think this only comes with 1 weapon, but we'll see when we pull it out. And then there you can see it says Nier Automata version 1.1a and Bandai. And there is a Tamashii Nations quality sticker here. So again, proof that this is not a bootleg. A lot of these figures get bootlegged. And if you don't order from BBTS or like Square Enix or someplace like that, if you order from Amazon or from eBay, be careful because it could be a bootleg, especially if the price is cheaper. And on the bottom, we have a picture of the figure in a pose, some warnings for ages 15 and up, and not for children under 3 years because of choking hazard because of small parts. And it kind of tells you that here. And on the side of the box, we see 2B with Pod 42, and then 2B there. The look of this packaging is really neat. It's super small, too. It's very compact. The figure's not big. And then here's the back of it. And you see 2B with 2S, in which I have him. We'll review him next. But yeah, she just comes with the 1 sword. So that's kind of a bummer, but still. The PlayArts Kai version the deluxe version has all the stuff. So I'm looking forward to that one. But for now, this is pretty cool. And then there she is standing with a sword. Curious to see how she stands without a stand. I always worry about heels with these figures. And then it says simple style and heroic action. Tamashii Nations, and then a bunch of Japanese that I don't read. And then there's the UPC. So here's the side over here. S.H.Figuarts is a standard action figure series that uses the art style and technology of Tamashii nations to pursue character expression through humanoid action. Very interesting. I wonder if that's written specifically for these Nier Automata figures. Anyway, let's go ahead and get 2B out of the package and look at everything she comes with. Okay, here is 2B out of package and everything she comes with. She also comes with some instructions like most figures do. It shows you how to change out the face plates. The front part of the hair comes out, almost a lot like Play Arts and Bring Arts from Square Enix. Same type of style. Then it shows you the hand that holds the sword. Virtuous Contract, I believe, is that sword. It's a starting weapon, one of the coolest looking ones in the game, I think. And then it shows you the extra hand. She has a total of 7 hands. I always find it's odd when they do an uneven number of hands, but there we have it. And then this stand here is for pod 42. And then it shows the stand here, which has one for the flight rod and then one for either side for the pod to go onto. And it shows you how the stand can go in her back. And on the back, a bunch of Japanese, again, I don't understand. And then on the back of the packaging, this is in the back of the packaging. It's nothing, it's kind of a cardboard, but it's gray. I'm not sure if they just wanted that as a backdrop instead of having, crummy cardboard looking behind the figure. They have that gray look, which gray is quite a bit of a theme in Nier Automata. So there's that. And I wanted to show you guys this stand. I didn't take it out of packaging because I wanted to show you something. Usually these packages are sealed, but every one of these is open. So if you want to resell this figure and you want to keep all the packaging intact, minus maybe the tape if you make mistakes here, you can just keep this packaging and then, retape it to the bottom of the plastic tray that it comes in. And you can always resell it with all the material without anything missing. So that's kind of cool. Let's take a look at the figure here in closer detail. Again, this is based off of the anime, not so much the game, but again, to me, like, I look at this figure and it looks pretty much the same, except for maybe the head. Like I said, the head sculpt looks bigger, rounder, and I believe the blindfold covers more of her face. I don't remember covering this much in the game, but I might be wrong in that. It just seems like there was more of a blindfold there. And then, yeah, here's the look. It looks pretty good. We'll go into detail and articulation here, but just a once over on the figure. It looks like 2B. And then there's pod 42. In the game, you can get different skins for pod 42. And the same with 2B. You can get different looks, but 2B's got a bunch of different skins. This one's just kind of like the chrome metal look, which is a good look. There's her extra hands. Only has the 2 right hands and then 3 extra left hands. Again, I always think it's weird when they do that. And then here's the extra face sculpts. I prefer the blindfold look or the bandana, whatever you want to call it, but I'm glad they give you the extra looks. And then there's Virtuous Contract, I believe. Virtuous Contract? Virtuous Treaty, I think, is the heavy sword, if I'm not mistaken. But it's like a white katana. Looks really good. Bunch of different weapons you can get in the game, but again, I think the katanas look the coolest, in my opinion. There's the flight pole for pod 42, and that's everything. So let's back this out and maybe go over articulation right now. Even though it's a small figure, it has pretty good articulation. There are some sharp points, like these frills around the elbows. They're pretty sharp. You gotta be careful. But the head is on a ball joint, and so is the neck, so you can get some pretty good range, as you can see, with the head. All sorts of looks, spinning around, whatever. And the arms go up 90, just about 90. Got big old puffy frills here, but still go 90. And then there is like a bicep swivel right here, as you can see. Single jointed elbows. Most female figures have single jointed elbows. I don't know why that is, but a lot do. But I think it's still enough range for her, honestly. You got a lot of movement in this elbow joint here. It's not a butterfly, but it does move pretty interestingly. So you get quite a few good movements there. And then I believe the wrists are ball hinge. Yeah, ball hinge. And then there is a ball hinge here in the abdomen, upper mid torso and lower torso have ball joints. So you can get some good range on this figure. And she goes back really far. She goes forward pretty good. So pretty good range. And the legs, okay, guys, here you go. One-time deal. There you go, okay? On the back, there you go, okay? Satisfied? Good. The legs kick up over 90. And the knees, I guess it's considered a single joint, about 90. And then the ankles are on ball hinge joint. So because they're ball hinged, you can't really get rocker, which I guess you can. It's just, you got to kind of twist that ball joint, which is always a pain. But I mean, it goes up about that far, back about that far. So pretty good. And then the legs do drop down, as you can see, like most SHF. And there's kind of how that ball joint works, that T joint, whatever it is. So the legs do drop down. And so you can really get her to, you know, kind of kick high, because she's really athletic in the game. She's really athletic. So, and then those legs just go right back up. And this dress is really soft, rubbery plastic. So you have no trouble for articulation for the legs to kick up high or to get in some type of jump pose. And you see it's got a cut there in the side. So yeah, pretty good. I think, you know, for the figure being this small, it's pretty good. And this bow here, this ribbon, is like on a ball joint in itself. Not a ball joint, but it does move. So you just got to be careful that you don't rip that over time, because it looks very delicate. Hard to see here, it's all black. But yeah. So let's look at changing out the face sculpts now. I haven't done this yet. I'm going to do it live. I think this just pulls out, and it pulls out real easy. Much easier than Play Arts or Bring Arts figures. That was real easy to pull out. And then you can see the face sculpt. You see her little mole there. She has her signature mole. And then this just pulls off just like so. So let's go ahead and put on the other blindfold. This is the yelling one, the screaming one, like she's attacking. Of course, it doesn't want to go on. Okay. Yeah, so there's her mouth. I don't know how I feel about it, because it's anime. It's definitely cartoonish looking, very cartoonish looking. You know, you might be a fan of that. If I zoom in a little bit, you can see the mouth. You get some teeth there. It's painted well. Lipstick. Yeah, it's painted pretty good. It's just not my favorite look for the figure, personally. But I like that they gave you all these options. Let's go ahead and put on this one. This is the, where these faces don't want to go back on very easy. There we go. The hair comes off real easy. So here's her without the bandana. Cool look. Eyes are painted really good. I'm trying to get the light there. Man, the paint technique there is really good. They're printed on, it looks like. But wow, that looks really phenomenal. You know, it's an anime look, which again, I didn't know when I ordered this figure. I didn't know, you know, version 1.1a meant the anime show, but man, I don't care. It's Nier Automata. I love the game, the lore, and now the hair won't come off for some silly reason. Let me, there we go. I'm just showing you guys, when you get this figure, this is what you're going to deal with. It's not difficult at all. It's just, you just got to be careful that the pegs, everything pegs in good. So here's one of her kind of like smiling. You know, you can see painted eyes. They did both eyes, which I find interesting, because once this hairpiece goes on, you can't see the other eye, like at all. Completely covered. I guess you could, I'm not going to mess with it. I want to scratch it. But it's cool. They went the whole distance and they painted it just in case. But yeah, I'm definitely going to pose her with the bandana, just because that's the look I'm so used to seeing. Let's check the fifth one. This is with the eyes closed. And this kind of might, in my opinion, relate to the game a little bit better. A very somber mood in a lot of this game. I won't go into details, but And I don't mean that in a bad way. I don't mean that in a bad way at all. This game, if you haven't played Nier Automata, the range of emotions you might experience in this game while playing might surprise you. And I'll just leave it at that. I think out of the non-bandana covered ones, this is probably my favorite. I like this one a lot. That is really good. Yeah, there, man, there's some scenes in the game I could think, boy, about this look. But anyway, let's look at the katana, virtuous contract, if I'm not mistaken. If you're a Nier buff, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's a virtuous contract. I think virtuous treaty is the great sword, the katana one. The hilt looks really good. Look at that wrapping, the detail. Man, the paint apps on this is really good. Again, I don't own but one SHF figure. So, seeing this firsthand, I'm impressed. I can see why people like SHF quite a bit. I just never got in the line because the line runs a little small across the board. And most of the figures I own are like Mezco, which run a little big for 1/12 scale. I'll have to measure her. I don't think she's even 6 inches. She's pretty small. But we'll see. Let's go ahead now and try and get her into some cool poses. Let's see what we can do here. So here is 2B with Pod 42 on the flight stand, doing a kick with a virtuous contract, lunging forward. And that you can either use, there's a clamp that it comes with, or you can just plug the post into the back like I have right now. And I think Figment figures also have a hole in their back like that, so you can just plug the flight pole into it, or it comes with like this clamp right here, which I'm not even using. I think with the clamp, it kind of takes away from the look because you see that plastic around the waist. So yeah, this is pretty cool. And Pod 42 also has some articulation on him. I'll show that in a minute. But let's just look at some detail here in this figure. I think it's, man, she looks really good. As small as, this figure is, in my opinion, I think the details, the details in the dress, you can see the different layers to it, and also that around the hem of the skirt, some detail. It looks really good. I don't remember in the game on the elbows that black was like a flower to me. I don't know what you call that, but really kind of that's very noticeable. It's also very sharp, so be careful with you handle this figure that you don't push on those too hard. When I was putting the hands on, I jabbed my finger into one of those by accident. But yeah, pretty cool. There's Pod 42. Like I said, he's got some articulation. I'll show you here in a minute. But this stand's pretty cool. Like I said, I don't have any SHF except for one, and I'm not used to their stands they use. It's just generic, like most overseas, figures. The stands are always generic. They don't say like, Nier Automata on them, anything like that. I think like Hot Toys and Mezco that I primarily collect. Their stands always, are finished very nicely, say something about the product. These are just generic clear or black bases. But with that said, the flight arm is really nice. You can maneuver it quite a bit. It stays in place. I didn't have to tighten those screws down. Of course, the figure's not heavy either. But yeah, and then the pole, the rod for Pod 42, you can put it on the right side or the left side. And there's a little plug piece that you got to pop out. You just use the rod and it pops out this plug piece. I'm honestly not sure why they even gave you this plug piece, but it's all right. It's fine. Let's go ahead and strike another pose here. All right, and there is For the Glory of Mankind pose. Yora. Yora Soldier, 2B. Kind of got that arm out for the glory of mankind. And again, I'm not going into any spoilers for anybody because you need to play the game to fully appreciate what's going on. But man, artistically, I forget the creator's name of Nier, Yato or Yomo. I can't remember his name, but he's got a very specific artistic vision for his look. And the Nier figures, characters. Very particular look, with the bandana. People wondering like, why are they wearing bandanas? What's that all about? It's just, you got a nice aesthetic, a different aesthetic to it. But boy, that is just so cool. Love this a lot. Let me show you the articulation here for pod 4.2. So it's very simple. It's just a hinge there, but it hinges back. Go back all the way if you want. I think it can go all the way around, but it's kind of tight. But yeah, and then it can go up. So we can go up a little bit. I would just leave them this way personally. These items don't move up here. I just leave him like you normally see him in the game. He's kind of like that in the game, right? For the most part. Sometimes these may go down when he kind of takes off. Ooh, I got an idea for a pose. Let's see if we can do it. 1 second. Okay, so in the game, if you jump from a height that could maybe hurt you, you can actually hold the button and she'll hold on to the pod and he'll kind of like float her down to the ground so you don't get hurt from a high fall. So I couldn't get her hand around his, like the silver part of the arm because the hands are so small, but I got it around the foot right there. And I think that looks really cool. Check that out. It's like she's floating down to the ground. Really cool. So, this figure is, highly posable. You can strike some really cool poses with her, like this one, or with the sword, or whatever you want to do. And with all the different face plates, you have a lot of, playability with this figure. So let's go ahead and do some size comparisons now. Okay, here's 2B next to Cloud, Strife, and Tifa Lockhart from Final Fantasy VII. These are Bring Arts figures made by Square Enix. And as you can see, 2B is actually bigger, taller. I just measured 2B and she comes in at 5 3/4 inches, 5.75 inches. So she's almost 6 feet or 6 inches. So for a 1/12 scale figure, that's, just under 6 feet for the height. So kind of give you a good idea of how she matches up to Bring Arts figures, which are of a similar height and build. Okay, here she is next to a Figma Link from Skyward Sword, and I thought Link was going to be a little bit taller than he is really compared next to her, but she's definitely taller than Link. But I think Figma, SHF, and Bring Arts are probably a good scale for this figure because Link should be smaller, even though his features are bigger than her. I think it matches up pretty good. All right, here's 2B next to a Black Series Hasbro figure, Ahsoka on the left, and then a Mafex Invincible Iron Man on the right. And Ahsoka's just about the same height as 2B, maybe a little shorter. I thought Ahsoka would be much taller, but I guess 2B fits in pretty good with Black Series figures. Of course, Iron Man's going to be taller because he's Iron Man, but Mafex I think are a little bit bigger, closer to maybe like or Mafex is closer to maybe Mezco in size, I think. Whereas SHF, Figma, Bring Arts, and even Black Series, as you can see, kind of work. So pretty good. So at the end of the day, is this figure worth it? I think if you like anime, if you like Nier Automata, 2B, or cool art, I think this figure is worth it. Now I got it on BBTS. It was like $83.99, I think. And I couldn't find it anywhere else. I mean, it wasn't on Square Enix's site. So I got this one in 2S, both for the same price on BBTS. So, I don't know, maybe it'll go on sale, I'm not sure. But regardless, I'm glad I got this figure. I'm not sure when it came out, honestly. I didn't see a date on the box as to when this figure apparently was released. But I mean, if the anime came out in 2023, I'd imagine this figure is fairly new, honestly. And again, like I said, when I ordered it, I didn't notice that it was off of the anime. It does say in the description on BBTS, just FYI. But regardless, I mean, as a huge fan of the game, like, this is fine to me. I think she looks pretty close to the in-game model in the game. And I'm absolutely happy to have this figure. Been really enjoying some of this stuff. I just finished playing Stellar Blade, and I'm replaying Nier Automata, which I haven't played in years, all the way through. So I'm excited to start my journey with 2B and 9S again, and get into it again. So yeah, this has been a review of S.H.Figuarts 2B. And if you like what you see, give me a like, give me a comment what you guys think about this figure. I'll be reviewing 9S next. And if you like what you see, subscribe. Until next time.